And so how's the family, Aieti? Yeah.
Great, thanks. They are doing great. They are happy I'm home because last 10 years I was, or more than that, I was traveling extensively, like 100 to 150 days a year. And finally, they see me every day home, which is surprising. And they have a feeling that I will leave again, so they try to take as much time as possible.
Yeah, and it's also a good thing. I remember that, like, a couple of years ago, that you were moving, you were building your new house outside Tbilisi in the suburbs, and then apparently you moved before Corona hit, right?
Yes, I moved couple of in November, which is 4 months before Corona. So I had some feelings, probably. Intuition.
Intuition. Yeah, I know. All right, so we are live now. So let me introduce us all in this talk, Leading in Turbulent Times, as a part of our Cave Talk.
Welcome to all who have joined us to our Cave Talks. Thank you for watching. And this is our third of the CaveTalk series. And welcome, Aieti. You can introduce Aieti.
Yeah. So about 4 years ago, I decided at the spur of the moment that I had heard about Georgia, the country. So I was wanting to go to Georgia, the country. So, and then Zaufy and my daughter Amal, they booked my seat one evening. Okay, Dad, go to a new country, go to Georgia. Okay. So at about 6 o'clock in the evening, I booked my flight and I said, man, I don't know anybody in Georgia. For tomorrow, 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm leaving within 12 hours to a new country. So, and it was a one-way ticket, by the way. I always go on a one-way ticket exploring because I never know how long I'm going to take. And then I sat on LinkedIn and I sent a lot of about 50, 60 invites to CEOs and change catalysts, influential people in Georgia. And then one of the responses came from Aieti immediately that, okay, yes, I would like to get in touch. So the first day that I was there, the same day, next day, I was there. So Aieti came to pick me up with his colleague Salome, and and he took me to this, what is this place called? The restaurant, or which is on top?
Of the mountain.
Funicular restaurant.
Funicular restaurant, where you go by the cable car and everything also. Yes. And I remember our first connection of talking about, we talked about what sort of books do you read? And you said, yeah. And we talked about Carlos Castaneda, The Active Side of Infinity. And that became our connection, the brotherhood between the Castaneda connection, the shaman connection that we had. And then after that, it's been about 4 years. And thank you so much for introducing me. And you taught me a few words in Georgian, Kamarjoba, Didi Matloba, Modi. Galmarjos. All these sort of things. And you advised me and you guided me which are the places to go and see in Georgia and who are the people to connect with, because you're very well connected. And then, mashallah, you have so many businesses that you had then and so on and so forth. So you've been an entrepreneur, always looked up to you. Whenever I came to Georgia, we always had nice Georgian meals with you and so on and so forth, and even met your friends and so on and so forth.
And when, I was part of one of the trainings which we did for his companies, but you've done one before as well.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful to meet your colleagues, your team members as well.
Yeah, so so it's been about 4 years since then. And then about 2 years ago, I was in Spain. And on my way, I was going from Ukraine to Spain, and on the way I stopped over in Istanbul airport, and I put it on Facebook that I am in Istanbul airport, and then Aieti saw my post and he said, I am also at the Istanbul airport.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then he was in the business class lounge. I was in the economy.
Okay.
And so he was in the business class lounge, and he was nice enough to come out of the business class lounge to come and see me.
I didn't know
you are making so much jokes all the time. I learned so many, making jokes in serious situations in such a way that people don't know whether it is joke or serious.
No, but really, jigari. Jigari in Georgian means like, a person from the heart. So it's a close friend. So Aieti is my jigari. So jigari Katsi is a close friend. He's a good human being. So he's a family man. He's an entrepreneur. So we thought we'll have this cave talk discussion with Aieti. So we planned this about a little while ago, and then Zaufy also has some questions from you. With regards to anything else, like the overall crisis that we see, which is happening right now, which is so people are scared, the economy is being affected, and so many factors are which are external factors, which are not in our own control, so which is actually bothering us, and so on and so forth. So you wanted to ask?
Well, being an eternal optimist, Aieti, I always see that things, situation, crisis, challenges come to us. But there must be some upside. There must be something, some benefit that comes from certain crisis situation. So what, in your opinion, is actually the benefit? What good can come out of this?
Well, of course, all crises are a little bit unexpected for businesses, and businesses always have to be ready for challenges, whether it is your direct competition on some new regulation from the government or anything like crisis, macroeconomic crisis, global meltdown, anything, and especially such pandemic which happened during centuries, once in 200 years. And now we are being told that it will be maybe once in 2 years, or even worse, once a year, or annually, as like flu. Right. So you have to forget about the stress and concentrate on benefiting. So you have to do something better than your competition. Once crisis is over, you are better prepared, you are doing better, and so this is the mind shift, that don't fall into stress, shift into the healthy stress, like usual, that you are competing with somebody and they are also competitors, they're also in the same situation, and you have to continue, life goes on, and you have to be competitive. So this is very important.
Good.
Earlier when we were talking, you also said that, these days the overhead costs are much less because of this situation. I mean, we are at...
Yeah, there are many benefits, of course, in this regard, because when you have something, wise man said that when you establish your company, it starts rotting from the day of establishment. So you have to shape and reshape it every day. You have to moving the blood around the company. Now you have to change different departments, move people around, all this. And this crisis gives you a unique opportunity, because suddenly you have to move either all of your employees out of the offices to their homes, and you realize that suddenly some costs are decreasing, because you may not have to pay some office costs. You don't need driver that much, because the city is locked and nobody moves around, and your driver is sitting at home, and you just move him alone, because he's not allowed to carry anyone in the car or with the limited. And this decreases costs, electricity costs, fuel costs, communication costs, heating costs, whatever.
In Georgia, also drinking cost.
Yeah, definitely. Because you have to invite your clients very frequently, and suddenly you cannot meet them. and if you meet them, you have to have 2-meter distance, and drinking is not quite effective. So communication with client goes over online, and you just promise them once you have good time to celebrate together.
Sorry, I think one thing which you said, what really resonated with me is that when there is normalcy in organizations, you cannot even spot the underachievers and the underperformers. But when such situation, can you elaborate a little more on that? That really interested me.
Yeah, that's very important, because last 20 years or more, employers were realizing that no employee can stick to the company for a long time, because it's in Japan or in some other countries where employees are still thinking that they will be working forever for this company or 10 years or more. But in today's environment, employees are no longer not only loyal, but they're thinking about, they're changing. And so it is clear now that you as a manager should be ready not to count to any employee. So the approach is to let employee feel herself as a freelancer. So to realize that she's not paid because she's at the office. Because before, let's say before the crisis, maybe some employees were sitting at the office and pretending that they are working. But today, they have to realize, I'm saying she because it's she and he. Let's say she, so it's a combined she and he. Because she has to realize that every minute she works for you, she should justify by bringing tangible, measurable benefits. It's either KPI or some other, accordingly. This is very healthy for the company, because suddenly you really realize that there are many people who are sitting in the office and they were not doing maybe 50% of their salary. And this is really benefit, because they can be moved to the freelancer. They are useful, but you don't need to pay them full time, because they're qualified enough, they can do some job much faster, and they will not take your office space. You may end up paying them same salary, for example, but at least they don't take full-time office space and full-time, some other costs associated with it, right? So this is very important. Suddenly you can decrease these costs, increase utilization of the employees, and there are some other benefits, of course, which you have to think about in a positive way. So this is very important, that employees and entrepreneurs should realize that this is very useful situation for everybody. So employers should set up new standards, because if we are ready to expect this crisis every second year or every year, like regular flu season, we have to set up new guidelines, and these guidelines will be officially signed by CEO and will be distributed to via HR to all of the employees, and everybody will be ready. Once the crisis or pandemics hit, everybody will get these guidelines, which they already are accustomed and trained, and will be using without big surprises or stress.
Right. It's like matching expectations. And I've had a few discussions with other people in the corporate, and they are also rethinking that nobody knows how long this pandemic can last, or till normalcy comes. So a lot of performance management systems are also being reassessed only for this particular time period as well. So yes, thank you. I think these are very good suggestions.
No, very good. So I also have a question. Yeah. So first of all, how are you doing? Are you enjoying this talk so far? Are you okay?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Very good. How's the family? How's your little one?
Great, thanks.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. All right. So the next question I want to ask you is, what leadership attributes are needed in this turbulent time or in this crisis time? What kind of characteristics or attributes do we require from the people who are sitting in leadership positions right now?
Yeah, first of all, you have to feel that this is a unique situation, and this crisis is presented to you to grow yourself, to test your leadership skills, to test your team. So, this is the best way to fight the panic. Like most of the people say that, oh my God, I had these plans and everything is upside down, and some people start complaining. But this is where real leaders gather people, and they tell them in such a way that everybody is looking forward to tackle their own tasks, and which keeps them concentrated on achieving these tasks, and instead of falling into the desperation. So of course a leader should also be a little bit have a little humor, and should make some jokes about opportunities, about who will be faster to bring new ideas, and will also let employees know that because it's the 21st century, and we should be ready for such crisis all the time. This will be new rule for the company to reward those employees who find best ways to bring something unique. As we all know, 2/3 of the inventions in the world are done outside the company. Companies have R&D budget, and 2/3 of the inventions are coming either from customers or just by simple occasion. So leadership should emphasize that this is the right time now, because we are in surprising situation. I count on you guys to bring me something, and you will be rewarded, like it's a new service or decreasing costs or finding something unique. So this all gives employees and management new tasks, and they are getting busy, and they are getting motivated and incentivized. So this is very important for a manager, to shift people's attention from the desperation to achievement orientation.
Good. Yeah. I feel that a lot of leaders are going to emerge out of this particular crisis as well. Some people who did not show any certain abilities, but all of a sudden they will also be emerging. Good point. Yes.
No, very good. Yeah. So yeah, these are tough times. Absolutely. I think you're very right that innovation is the key to the future success.
Sure.
So companies, it really is. It's like, this old management slogan that used to come out: innovate or die. So we are very much right now, either we go into a new innovation, a new product development, and then come out with some new services, or even diversify a little bit as to what we need to do, and then start doing things in a different way by challenging the status quo that we have been involved in throughout. So how do we sort of innovation? How do we make people who are feeling insecure, people who are generally speaking, the employees' mindset, which is a majority of them are in a fixed mindset, and how do we bring them into a growth mindset that things will? How do we provide them the comfort that the basic amenities the basic needs have been taken care of. So you start focusing on that creative and innovation part. Because innovation driven out of a crisis, innovation that comes out of a stressful situation may not be that innovative, by the way, as much as a rebound activity. So rebound activities will be more of a catastrophe for organizations than actually taking bad decisions. I mean, these are all bad decisions that people are going to be taking. So how do we bring in and draw the line between innovation and then playing safe and then securing themselves for the future? So this is also a big challenge.
Yeah, that's a good point. Regarding fixed mindsets, these people should be encouraged, first of all, to make every day a very small step, which will increase their security, increase the probability that their jobs will be safe, and also they will have new opportunities. Because if you realize eventually that you cannot be with this employer because maybe boss likes you or everybody likes you, but if crisis hits and company is gone, then you just lose the job. Doesn't matter if everybody likes you and you felt comfortable. So and by pushing employees that they remain competitive and they make improvement in their own job or their own personal skills every day, this will shift fixed mindset people into more growth mindset. And also technologically, you give them tasks that, for example, salespeople, before you could go to your client, talk to them, show your very positive attitude, show how you care about them, and there were different skills and sales skills mostly, which persuaded buyer to buy your product. But suddenly you are sitting at home in front of the screen and you have to use quite different strategy. And there are many skills which you have to ignore, which you had before, and quite new set of skills which you have to use in front of the computer. And first, of course, it's technology. You have to present your products in such a way that buyer understands, sees the product virtually or on some software applications, and which means that you have to improve this set of skills every day, and plus come up to your boss or supervisor and tell that, okay, I think these kinds of products are needed and I'm gonna do some research. Maybe there are new products available, because definitely there are some companies, some IT companies who are working to improve the business operations during this distance selling. There is also new technologies that help team meetings, some presentations, some cost savings and decreases, because all these make companies' life easier, and people should make use of these all these applications. But most importantly, we have to assess all those positions in which we had at the company, and how effective these people will be. Today, they were sitting, for example, accountants, and suddenly they are sitting at home. how much efficiency, how much you will get their efficiency increased or decreased. You have to evaluate with your team and eventually suggest, okay, you are getting benefit that you are sitting at home. You don't have to spend 2 extra hours time and I mean commuting to the job, and you are much convenient. So this means that you have to either decrease your salary, for example, or I will keep you with the same salary and I will give you 2 hours as a gift. So this is a good motivation also for some of the people. They realize that yes, they were losing because they were getting up at 8 o'clock to get to the job at 9 o'clock, and then they were leaving from job at 5 or 6. They were losing another hour. Suddenly they don't need to spend these 2 hours plus decreased transportation costs, and they have same salary. So the boss tells them, I need you because you I present it such a way that I promoted you. You are getting 2 hours more salary. It's a gift for you. So next 1 or 2 months, you should give me something extra to justify that I keep the same salary level. These kind of things are also important. And you know, there is IT background, salespeople. There are some risk people, because these risk people were also involved in talking to people, because they sometimes need to meet client or employees who are making some decision to decrease some risks for the company or do some extra analysis, and suddenly they are sitting at home. Sometimes they require more information, or they require personal meeting with some people, and this is also a challenge. And you tell them, provide me with the new numbers or new software or some new technology which will make your job easier and bring better results.
Good. Can you repeat all this in quickly in Georgian? Because I have about more than 900 friends on Facebook who are from Georgia, and they were asking me, and a couple of people just messaged me also, can you please request King George? A lot of your friends call you King George. And I'd like you to say this in Georgian, please.
Well, so პირველ რიგში, როდესაც ასეთი კრიზისი დგება, ჩვენთვის მნიშვნელოვანია გავიაზროთ თითოეული პოზიცია, რაც კომპანიაში გვაქვს და მათი ადაპტირება მოვახდინოთ ისეთ დონეზე, რომ ეფექტიანობა კომპანიაში და თანამშრომლის გამოყენების უტილიზების დონემ არ დაიწიოს, არამედ მივიღოთ უკეთესი შედეგი. რაც გამოიწვევს, რა თქმა უნდა, ხალხის განწყობის ცვლილებას კრიზისის პერიოდიდან უფრო შესაძლებლობების აღმოჩენამდე და საბოლოო ჯამში შეიძლება ბევრი ისეთი პოზიცია აღმოვაჩინოთ, რომელიც არ იყო უტილიზებული და ახლა უკეთეს შედეგს გვაძლევს. ასევე აღმოჩნდეს ახალი ტექნოლოგიები, რომელიც ჩვენთვის იყო აქამდე შორს, ანუ არ მოდიოდა კადრების მიერ ამ ტექნოლოგიების შემოთავაზება, მაგრამ ვინაიდან ამოცანა შეიცვალა და სახელიდან გვიწევს მუშაობა, რომელიც მომავალი 21 საუკუნეში უკვე ვართ და მომავალ წლებში საკმაოდ დიდი ალბათობაა, რომ ესეთი კრიზისები განმეორდეს ხშირად, 2 წელიწადში ერთხელ, ან წელიწადში ერთხელ, როგორც სეზონური ვირუსები. ამიტომ ამისათვის ზად უნდა ვიყოთ და დღევანდელი შედეგი გვინდა, რა თქმა უნდა. იმიტომ რომ თანამშრომლების სახლში რო გადაყავს, მათ უნდა აუხსნათ, რომ თქვენ გინარჩუნებთ ხელფასს. აქამდე 2 საათს კარგავდით გზაში. ახლა ეს 2 საათი თქვენ გაქვთ და იმის მაგივრად რომ დაგიკლოთ ეს 2 საათის ხელფასი, თქვენ ამას გჩუქნით, უბრალოდ მომავალი 2 თვის განმავლობაში შედეგები კარგი უნდა გვაჩვენოთ, რომ დავრწმუნდეთ, რომ სახლიდანაც კარგად მუშაობთ და კრიზისი რომ მორჩება, ყველაფერი კარგად გაგრძელდება და ის კადრები, რომლებიც თავს კარგად წარმოაჩენენ და შემოგთავაზებენ ახალი გადაწყვეტის შესაძლებლობებს, ასევე მოგვაწვდიან ახალ ტექნოლოგიებს, რა თქმა უნდა, თავის სამუშაოს და პროცესებს უკეთესად გაუძღვებიან და უკეთესი მონაცემები ექნებათ, რა თქმა უნდა, წახალისდებიან. ამიტომ ჩვენთვის თავარია ხალხის განწყობის ცვლილება პანიკის რეჟიმიდან შესაძლებლობების მოძებნის რეჟიმამდე. That's it.
Good, very good.
Sorry, somebody came and I got distracted and I was...
No problem. But Didi Madloba. Really, this is very good. Okay, my last question to you. There are a couple of questions who want to know, they just joined in and they want to know what you do. Sorry, guys, you have to go back to the beginning of the session and watch it again because we're not going to spend more time on this. My last question to you is, what is your advice? You've always been a good person. Whenever I need any business advice or any personal advice, you are my life coach. And likewise, I'm sure that we're that sometimes we have the same connection. What is your advice to fellow entrepreneurs like you who have multiple businesses? You're in real estate, you are in BIA, intelligence network, you started your career in microfinance and so on and so forth. You are a financial wizard and everybody knows you in Georgia as King George. And then, so what is your advice to fellow entrepreneurs? What should they do in this turbulent time for organizing themselves and preparing themselves for the future much better?
They should, first of all, write down what will be the future attributes, what will be changing, and what we have to forget. For example, sitting in the office, people can move around. You don't need to live in the city, work for this employer. You can live remotely in the village where you will have less costs and better comfort, better quality of life, and or even live abroad or even travel while working. So this will be, and there are many set of list of.
Okay, when I asked you this a couple of days ago, you mentioned 8 things, and I wrote down those 8 things. If I may remind you, and you can expand on those. First, you mentioned. First, you mentioned think about hiring the best people, not mediocre people, not compromising on the quality. So becoming very selective about the people that you're going to bring on board onto your platforms, whether you are a small organization or a SME or a large organization. Never before has the entry level become more important to the organization as now. So that was a very good point that you made. Sure. Then you also mentioned that to reduce the cost, like work from home, and I like this term that you used, chasing every penny. What does that mean, chasing every penny?
Yeah, when you have employees and you have such, let's say 10 million revenue a year, and you think nothing can be improved, you can decrease costs by 1 million and still have same revenue. And this is very important to analyze which costs are there, which can be changed. Maybe some of the costs may be increased, like personal costs, but instead of 2 or 3 people, you can have 1 person, and he can get higher salary, but he will not be forever getting same salary. He will be getting salary on performance basis. So we had a very good case. I remember in Sweden when famous Ericsson company decreased employees from 110,000 worldwide to 50 or 60,000, and their revenues went up 15 or 20 billion, and costs also decreased significantly, like computer per person or tables per person. So entrepreneurs should look at the costs, like cost per square meter in the office space, cost per revenue. So these are all chasing every penny. You can find out what's your communication cost per employees, or what's your transportation cost per employee, what's your office space or table space per employee, and you'll find out that there is room for growth, because some of the employees, like back office, you don't need to have them at the office. They can move at home, and suddenly your costs are dropping there. And of course, if costs are dropping, per employee revenue is increasing. So
Good.
this is a very interesting exercise, chasing every penny. It can be done for every department.
Very good.
And
You know, when I go grocery shopping down there in the mountains where we live, so once in a while I go grocery shopping. So Zaufy asked me to bring the bills and everything. Is she chasing every penny also? so she asked.
yeah, of course, it's because eventually, if crisis hits, whoever is less costly, he will survive, because you cannot afford to throw some of the money even if you are doing very well and you think some of the employees, you feel guilty to fire them because they were there for 10 years. But if you fire them because they are not creating big value for the company, they may find some better use of their time, and they may even become professionals and achieve bigger success. So you should never think that I'm
Indispensable.
in business for taking care of people. No, you are in business because your business should move forward. It should be efficient and better positioned. And this is the principle you cannot ignore. So
yeah, in these times, it's like Godfather. It's not personal. It's just business. I mean, of course, everybody has to see what the situation is and act accordingly.
Yeah, and you also mentioned a very interesting point, that keep adjusting your KPIs.
exactly. So if you at good times had 50 meetings per week, and you are going with your driver, and you had all the meetings set up, and you are very efficient having 50 meetings, and suddenly you are sitting at home, of course you don't have these meetings, but you can have online meetings even 15 2 days instead of a week. So because you don't spend time on transporting, and also these people are, when you go to them and secretary tells them, look, these people arrived, they will take 5 to 10 minutes to keep you waiting. But all these numbers, like 10 minutes there, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes transporting, all these are disappearing, and suddenly you have to change the numbers. So instead of 50 meetings, you can have maybe 100 meetings. Instead of one meeting cost was like 2 hours, and suddenly you have 20 minutes, and you can do so much more, and you can do more reporting, you can do more analysis, because after
Good.
meetings, all this is new opportunities. So that's increasing employee efficiency rate. So these are all KPIs. Like I mentioned, meetings, analysis, providing better numerics for what can be done during this time. And eventually, all this leads to the better companies, because all companies should be oriented on a simple goal. We have to be number one. We have to in creating value for clients. If we are not number one in higher quality service, in superior products, and chasing our clients, then we will be gone out of the market. Because if your product is not needed, in reality, if crisis comes, everybody will see that it was just inertia. So this is number one, to keep highest quality product and to be number one in this service. And everything will be much simpler after that, if we realize that if we provide our employees best opportunities to show us every day how can they serve clients better, what can be done in most efficient way, less costly, less time per client, less time on analysis, because you have so much numbers coming from different departments who are all interested to increase quality of the service, and by decreasing costs, eventually you have already positioned your ship to the success, because every day you get the best advices which you could not do it yourself. Because for you as a manager, number one goal is to position all your employees to the same goal. Of course, they will all do in their own ways, but eventually you will get there, which is highest quality, customer satisfaction, to being number one in terms of service, and then money will be there, shareholders will be happy, employees will be happy, society, government will be happy. So it's a win-win. So what else can I add? I think I missed some of the points, like usually at the team meetings, when you are physically in one's room, you cannot have
the quality. It's okay. We are back, but there was some connection problem, but I'm glad I sent you a message. Keep talking. Since you are such a good talker, I love you, Aieti, man. I miss you, brother. I swear to God, man. Yeah. I think the last time we met was in Dubai, when you came for Search Inside Yourself mindfulness workshop. If you remember, we had so much fun together. Huh? We had so much fun together. Yeah, that was good times. You also mentioned about diversifying, using best use of technology. And for salespeople, you also mentioned do more research before approaching a new client, which is very, very valid. People will just sort of start knocking without even knowing who they're going to go meet. So the customer profiling has to improve a lot for people and businesses to sort of tap into the right kind of audiences for their businesses. Yeah. And then you said enjoy the hard times. And your last advice was learn your lesson and move on.
I love that one.
Yeah.
It's very good. Most people, they stay stuck in that. I mean, and then it's like a fear takes over and they get paralyzed by fear because they can't see the future and they can't even be in the moment at that time. So I think it's good. Accept the fact and then move on. Perfect. I think.
Yeah, I hope
there was there's a comment. There's a comment by Selina Hafiz from the UK. So she says, good advice, quality in everything is win-win. valuable insights in adapting. And then she's also saying, George, you are sharing some great minds, refocusing points. So this is very good. So people are benefiting from this, man, insights from you. Aieti, man, I'm so proud of you, buddy. Really, man. You're a good.
I hope I was not too general in some of the points. I would prefer to be more precise, but I was thinking to give more benefit to the audience in to showing them, because we are holding company and we established about 50 businesses, and we provided thousands of businesses with consulting, fundraising, or we sold some of the businesses. So we know so many industries. I wanted to general and useful for all of the businesses, not for such businesses, industries as we are, because we are right now concentrated on just 7 industry. But we could be in future, we could be specific on some of the industries, and I could be more precise, and so people can use some of the skills immediately, because
or maybe we can even talk about mindfulness, because that's something that you became an expert of.
Yes, that's very important. That's the best thing you can do, because if you are successful in controlling your mind, you will definitely improve as a business person, because you will control your emotions. You will see from each blow or some bad news, you will see something better. And you know that, like, I lost within 18 years, I lost around $11 million and 90% of it were from employees who are very close to me, and they used my loyalty, and but some of the people would start grumbling, and I did a little bit, I should confess. But eventually I learned in US when I studied entrepreneurship that if God loves you, you will lose a lot of money, at least 10 million at the beginning of your business. So I said, God loves me because I lost $11 million. So I'm positioned to better take advantage. And this is all mindfulness, because if you don't use all your positive attitude to solving your current problems or positioning successfully for tomorrow, it will be very hard, because some of the surprises are such terrible that you may be depressed for weeks or even months, and your business will suffer. So mindfulness is really important, and I would like to suggest everyone that if you want to start business and to be on your own, or even if you have some big aims to become a CEO, this is one of the best skills in today's world, because there are so many surprises hidden everywhere, and without mindfulness and proper approach and controlling your emotions, it will be very hard.
Can you repeat this in Georgian or in Russian, or maybe combined together, Mesti?
Okay, I can, of course, I can do it in Georgian, and I'll try it in Russian also. Well, ძალიან მნიშვნელოვანია ეს mindfulness ტექნიკა არის, რომელიც მოიცავს მედიტაციას, რწმენას და ყველა იმ უნარჩვევებს, რომელიც ადამიანს აყენებს პოზიციაში, როდესაც შენს თავს უყურებ გვერდიდან და იმ ცხოვრების დარტყმებს თუ არასასიამოვნო სიტუაციებს მეხსოვრ რეაგირებას, უარყოფით რეაგირებას არ აკეთებ, არამედ უყურებ ამას როგორც ღმერთის გამოგზავნილს და შესაბამისად უარყოფითი რეაქცია არ მოსდევს, პირიქით შესაძლებლობებს ეძებ და საბოლოო ჯამში უკეთეს შედეგს იღებ. რა თქმა უნდა, ეს ყველაფერი გზდის, იმიტომ რომ ცხოვრება არ გიგზავნის არაფერს. ისეც რომელის გადალახვა ჩვენ არ შეგვიძლია. პირიქით გვიგზავნის ისეთ რაღაცებს, რომელიც ჩვენ გვაძლიერებს და თითოეული ასეთი გამოცდილება და ცხოვრების დარტყმა უნდა გამოვიყენოთ ერთი საფეხურით მაღალ დონეზე გადასასვლელად. I will try now in Russian.
Okay.
Do you really need it in Russian?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah. It's all right. But thank you. So this girl Selena is saying, like, George, my life journey has been very mindfully led. So I understand that what you are expressing over here. So bravo. At least somebody understand what you're talking about, Aieti. My brother, my King George. Very good. All right. So that brings us to the end. Any other point?
No. My only one comment was going to be that today what we talked about, George, I think people don't talk about it. It's happening all over the world. Business decisions are being taken. Some underperformance are highlighted, etc. But people are hesitant to take any decision. So I think what you just shared today, and the best thing I liked about it, that at the start of the business, if you have a big challenge, like you said, you lost some money, you learned it the hard way, but taking life's experiences in a positive note, it's all the attitude that matters, because nothing lasts forever. Everything changes. So thank you. I really enjoyed listening to you.
So when are we gonna, on a personal side, when are we gonna meet again? When are you going to come to Pakistan? I want to introduce you to all my network in the business community, and maybe Georgia and Pakistan can do something together. And then, or we come to Georgia, like you keep inviting us again and again, like, and we keep planning the retreat in Kazbegi, which we need to do.
Yeah. I think our region is becoming more closer. I mean, when I'm talking about our region, I'm talking about, let's say, from Ukraine, Belarus to India. All this region is becoming, European Union is maybe a little bit far away from us, but this region from Tbilisi to Pakistan, to Kazakhstan, to Dubai, to Ukraine, it's the same distance. So I think there will be, and plus geographically, there will be a lot of movement of goods and services, and all these countries are connected, and they're all fast-growing countries. And also, as I see, a shift from China will be to India, Pakistan, and all of these countries, because everybody realized that relying, if I'm a manufacturer and hundreds of my competitors, we are all stuck in China, and where our factory is stopped, then we are losing. So we have to diversify, and the best diversification, especially India and Pakistan, they both speak English, and there will be, and I think within 10-15 years, India will be emerging, number 2 economy in the world, because it's one of the biggest population, and all this region, Pakistan, Stan countries, Central Asian countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Armenia, including some Eastern European countries like Ukraine, Turkey, Belarus, they will be all in the center, because all these countries will be growing very fast. And I think we should really think talking to each other, all these countries, and visiting and establishing connections, because next 10 to 20 years, there will be huge opportunities in this region. Especially, we are between Asia and Europe in terms of transporting goods, which become very important now. Instead of ships, which take 45 days from China to Europe, now you can travel within 8 to 10 days. We are railways, there will be railways built, several railways. So I think we have to think about it. I see huge opportunities there, and I see many factories moving to all of our countries, and this is diversification. Finally, some businesses understood that you cannot rely on only one country. Eventually, you have to have, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket, as they say.
I have a business proposition. After this video is over, I've always, while you were talking, I've thought about 2-3 things that Georgia and Pakistan can do together, and we'll talk about it after this.
Sure, I see many opportunities.
Yeah, that's true. So what you're saying, essentially, what I'm listening to here is, and this is music to my ears, but basically, the old Silk Route was our history.
Sure.
And the new Silk Road, which is the same almost route, is our future.
Absolutely, you said it.
Definitely.
So the Silk Road was our history, and Silk Road is also our future. Yeah. So we're going to be connected more. The Georgia, Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, all these places, we're going to be more entangled and more closer ties with each other. So very good. My Jigari brother from Georgia. Maybe we will not have any passport to travel between each other also.
Yeah, I believe we will have much better border and customs control, much efficient, and we can move our goods much faster. By the way, if we have 2 minutes, we are working with one of the companies in who will be the water exporter. And I did some research, and out of 17 high-risk water distressed countries, there are 14 countries around Georgia. Can you believe? Out of 17 countries in the world, there are 17 countries in high water risk. Then there are 28 countries, including like half European countries, which is less risky, but still they are very close. And we can talk about it later, how we can export some of the water in this region, especially in countries where there is a low water, local water, and we will need your experience and connection.
Let's bring Borjomi to Pakistan.
I know, that was one of my businesses that I was going to
Borjomi like waters in Georgia. We have around 70 mineral water reservoirs, which are not well discovered, and so there are many opportunities we can cooperate.
Very good. So let's launch a brand, like together, a new brand, King George Water.
No, Silk Road Water.
Yeah,
Silk Road Water. That's right. Yeah. Silk Road Water.
Or Silky Water.
Silky Water. That's right. Okay. So good. Aieti, well, thank you so much. I think it's been 1 hour almost that we've been talking, minus the lag in the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, sorry, I had to notice. Somebody came into the room and I was a little bit distracted, but next time I will be well prepared. I will lock the door, and I did not use your advice last time regarding the door, but whatever you want, they will still keep knocking the door and coming and disturbing me. If you don't.
No. You're wonderful, and like a lot of good comments about you, and people want to connect with you also. So I'm sure you're going to get some friend requests coming to you from all over the place. I think Selena wants to definitely connect with you on innovation and so on and so forth. And so somebody suggesting the water's name, King Silk Water.
Okay. Yeah, we can have some prize. Whoever brings the best
name suggestion.
Name should be, in different cultures there are different meanings. There was, I remember, Mitsubishi or Pajero when they brought it to Spain. Everybody hated it because Pajero means some have negative words meaning in Spain. So we have to ask all these regional countries provide their own words, and if they will suggest something, we can give a good price, and we will know that we can bring this water to all these countries.
Very good. No, excellent. But because water shortage, they say that that the future wars are going to be about water. So going in the water business,
more than oil now already.
Sorry?
It costs more than oil.
Yeah.
Costs more than oil. That's right. Yeah. And so Georgia is such a blessed place. Nice fruits, nice water, nice foods, nice
Salmon.
salmon. Oh man, everything.
Sorry, trout.
Trout.
In Borjomi. Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, you really have a very blessed country, man. And I'm so glad that when we started going to Georgia, that the Georgian culture is still very preserved because very welcoming. And in Georgia, those of you who are watching, when I first was going there, I went to their website, Georgia website, the government, and it says guests are considered a gift in our country. Now I thought that was a marketing slogan. So, but when I went there and I was going on a walk in Kazbegi in the mountains, and there's an illiterate village woman. She said something in Georgian which I didn't understand. I said Kamar Joba, Rogarakhar, and then she said, oh, okay, like Ajnabi, like foreigner. Okay, so but she said something, and the guy who was with me, she just said that you are a gift in our country. And now, so if a simple person in the village can believe this from their heart and say it out loud, this means what the government is saying is not bullshit, but they actually mean that the culture is actually very welcoming to outgoing guests. Yeah. Sure. So in the last when I went there to Georgia about 4 years ago, and then following, I haven't been there in about 2 years now. So in about 2 years, I made something like 8 trips to Georgia. And then we were at the sales conference also, IBF, at the Hualin, and Kazbegi also, and so on and so forth. And we did some trainings at your companies.
And the festivals.
And the festival also, where we learned Chik Meni Sheni.
Go to your future. I think, what does it mean? I've forgotten.
Yeah, what does it mean? Chik Meni Sheni. I forgot. Chik Meni Sheni.
Chik Meni Sheni Momawali means create your own future.
Yeah.
Create your own future. Yes. So that was the festival we went to, and we were the speakers over there. So that was fantastic time. We missed Georgia.
Yeah. Can't wait to visit again.
Yeah. So God bless Georgia, man.
Thank you.
Aieti, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Didi Madloba. Kao Marjos.
Good night, week.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Tata. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you for coming. Very good. I'm going to end the broadcast now. Very good. It's still there. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We're still live, so we can say a few words. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it is not too boring for you, because some people are only interested in fun. But then again, there are some messages in there through an entrepreneur's perspective, how to look at things. So it will be very nice for some people to follow this. Of course, this is not prime time, but this will be. But yes, thank you so much for watching, being with us once again. And thank you once again being a part of the Cave Talk. So we changed a little bit of setting a little bit. So give us a feedback as to how we can improve on the Cave Talk, what you are learning from it, whether you are benefiting out of it or it's just boring. So do give us a feedback. And we are thinking constantly how to bring in a cross-cultural exposure to our Cave Talks while sitting in our cave in Bhurban, Pakistan, in the mountains. How can we be connected to our friends globally? So this is the time to connect with our friends globally. And I hope that you're also doing the same with your friendship and your acquaintances across the world too. All right? So thank you. Logging off from the cave, Zaufy and I. Thank you. And God bless you guys.
See you next time. Give us some suggestions of what topics and who all can we bring. Okay?
Thank you.
Care.
Thank
be
you.
Be safe, be healthy.
Be safe, be healthy, and be happy. Bye.